Wooden Shoe House is an old house here in Teutopolis. It was built in the 1880s by who's referred to in this town as the wooden shoemaker, George Diamond. A lot of people made wooden shoes in the mid to late 1800s for farm shoes. Basically, they were cheap. So, but he lived a really long life, and he started doing that more and more as he got older, and he was the last one around that did it. So from his work, the town mascot was developed the wooden shoes, and it pretty much came from him, because when he stopped making them, they were no longer popular. They were more of a collector's item at that point, but like the governor of Illinois had a pair of his shoes at that time. And this was what he thought was the easy work, was carving these by hand. So you basically take a piece of wood that's that big by this big by this big, and you start digging it out with chisels and hand tools. So that was what he thought was relaxing when he was in his 80s. He built this wooden shoe house out of brick that he made at his own brickyard. The house is like a lot of the real old houses from that time. The big exception is it's still standing, it's still here. There's only about a half a dozen houses that old in our little area here. They're left. It's one of the oldest in town. But my grandma purchased it in 1939, and she fixed it up, and they moved into there. And she was a single mother most of her life, which was very tough, and back then in the 1930s. Some of the things she did to make a living back then was she rented out the house like it is now to people in the local area and also travelers. The upstairs she turned into a loft. Her bedrooms downstairs, she rented them out for like $1 a day. So it's kind of cool that it's being used for something similar nowadays as it was back in the 1940s. Right now we keep it as an Airbnb in Teutopolis. So we have people coming in from all over the world, from Israel, Germany, Finland, that travel through on the interstates that go through Effingham, and they stop by and stay there. So it's nice to meet with different people from the area, and most of them enjoy the history of the place. We do have wooden shoes scattered all over the house from George Diamond and from the local area. So there's probably, between the wooden shoe house and the wooden shoe factory that he made the wooden shoes in, there's at least 100 pairs of wooden shoes. So there's a lot of wooden shoes from every size, from an inch long up to these, which are probably 15 inches long. So this house has always been in my family as long as I've been alive, except for a few years there. I like the history. My dad was a big history buff, and I like restoring old places. And this is one of the oldest ones around, and I want to make sure it stays around and doesn't get tore down, and let everybody appreciate the history behind it.
One of the biggest, most successful ventures we have undertaken in the last few years was housing. Businesses and industry will not come to your town if you don't have housing for the employees, and you can't support a school without children. Back in 2015, the superintendent of our school system at the time came to a board meeting, and he asked us if we could help him with the problem he had. He said the school has been experiencing a drop in enrollment. So we asked him what he thought the cause of that was, and he said he thought it was the lack of affordable housing in Teutopolis. So we formed a committee, and we all knew about a lot of vacant lots throughout the city limits. We discovered that several of these lots had access to utilities, and they'd be buildable immediately. So we went to see the owners of these lots and told them our story, how we came about asking them to sell their property. Meanwhile, while this was going on, I got a tip from a member of the TCFP, which is Teutopolis Community for Progress. He told me of a lady who lived up northern Illinois who owned a 40-acre piece of ground on the southeast edge of town. I thought, could this be an answer to our prayers? So I quickly wrote her a letter, and I made her an offer on her property, and after she'd be willing to sell it, and I told her what we planned to use it for. A few days later, I got a call from her, And she said that she would accept our offer and that she was moved by the letter I wrote her because what we planned to do with the subdivision was exactly what she'd hoped for. The first thing we did is we annexed the property into the city limits. The next thing we did was create a TIF district because we could not do a project like this without a TIF district. And the subdivision was given the name Prairieview because of the land that Teutopolis is now on was once prairie. We also named the 3 cross streets that are in the subdivision after prairie plants. We've got Morning Glory, Goldenrod, and Primrose. The lots that are of 1/2 acre to 3/4 acre were sold at a reasonable price of $12,500. They went on sale in 2017. Before we knew it, there were houses cropping up everywhere. We had construction equipment, cement trucks, contractors and construction workers everywhere. It was an amazing sight to see. Fast forward to the present, we now have 22 homes built in the vacant lots that were all through town. There's a few of those lots are still available. We have 30 homes built in a new subdivision, and we currently have 5 homes in various stages of construction. And we have 24 lots available. This is one of the most successful things we've done throughout the years, and it's only taken us like 6 years now since we started this. And our first phase is pretty much full. And we did it in phases, 2 phases. We were selling lots like crazy, and there's a lot of houses go up in a very short time. Where we're going to go next with this, and we've got some places now that are actually by Prairieview that would be easy access to utilities there, which would keep the costs down, and we could still add another 25, 30 homes there. So everything's going to go south, so we'll see how that goes in the future. And we've got some property, 65 acres on the west edge of town, southwest end of town, which might be a possibility in the future too. So I think just everybody working together, I think we can get that done as well.
My name is Billy Jansen, and I was born and raised in Teutopolis, and my mother, Mary Lou, was the person who initiated the ordinance to make golf carts legal on the roads of T-Town. And growing up, golf carts were kind of something that our family always had, and we would ride them more so out in the country though. But then as my dad got to his later years, he had a lung condition that made it harder for him to get around. And so the golf cart really made his life a lot easier. So he rode his golf cart to church, he rode his golf cart to work, he rode his golf cart to the fire station where he was a volunteer. It was just a big part of his last couple of years. So then after his passing, it kind of became like my mom's mission. She wanted to make sure that the golf carts could be legal in town and that could be something that the town could enjoy. And I still think today, every time she sees a cart on the street, I think it makes her smile, and I think it makes her kind of feel like his spirit is living on a little bit, which I think is pretty special. She started the journey back in July of 2013. She went to one of the town board meetings, and then she continued going every single month. She wanted to make sure that they wouldn't forget about it, so she kept going every single month, and then it was in December of that year that they did legalize the ordinance. So it was in December of 2013, and it was really kind of just in time because the following year is when we had the big centennial in town. And I do think that having that as a mode of transportation and an option really just kind of added to the fun atmosphere and all the activities that were going on at the time. That first year there were, I think, about 60 stickers. Stickers what you need to put on your cart to make it legal in town. And this past year there was over 170. So it's been a cool thing, and I think it's been a really neat addition for the town of Teutopolis.
1845, Teutopolis was incorporated as a village. Village officials were elected for the first time. Between 1845 and 1888, meetings were held at village officials' houses. The village constructed its first ever village hall. It was a 2-story brick structure located at 106 Main Street in Teutopolis. It was actually 2 stories, so the village trustees and the mayor met on the 2nd floor. And the main level was used for the fire department. They had their fire equipment on the main level. There was also a jail that was constructed for the main level. In 1948, the fire department remodeled the first floor, which included like a garage door for a modern-day pumper. 1962, the village hall was extensively remodeled after the fire department moved to a new building 2 blocks west. The remodel included a meeting room and a clerk's office and removal of the jail cell that was in the back of the building. The bell tower was removed at the same time that it was remodeled inside. The bell tower was very important. It was a symbol for the village hall for years because the fire department obviously was in the first level, and that was a way that the volunteers would be alerted that there was a fire. And so the village hall was something that people paid attention to, and once they heard that bell, they knew there was, there were issues, and people had to come and pull together and take care of whatever was going on. 1963 and 2020, there were very few changes made to the village hall. For several years, the village trustees and mayors had actually saved money for a new village hall. It was decided in the spring of 2020 that we would go through the endeavor and build a new village hall. So we built a 3,500 square foot building on the same location. In February of 2021, we moved in the new structure. It included a village clerk's office, the mayor's office, and the police department. The new village hall will provide space and a good working building for the growth in the village. It kind of has the look of maybe a little older building with the window types, but it does complement the neighboring buildings. And the village hall, to me, just brings the community together. It's a symbol of the strength of the village. We like it to be a focal point for the village.
Teutopolis is a beautiful town rich in tradition, faith, and family values that is flourishing into the future with strong schools, abundant opportunities for professionals and businesses, vibrant parks and recreation, state-of-the-art infrastructure, and ample housing and care options for all stages of life. Teutopolis welcomes everyone and embraces the true aspects of community through regularly scheduled events and outreach. Teutopolis, taking strong traditions into tomorrow. We started this venture of mapping for Teutopolis back in January 27th, 2020. And then of course, due to COVID, like many things that happened in 2020, everything kind of stopped. Was at kind of at a halt. So with our online meetings that we would have, instead of meeting in person, we basically tried to strategize, what is it that we wanted to do? What were some quick wins to kind of keep our community involved with Teutopolis? So we had different areas, like our events committee would do a scavenger hunt for kids. So, kids and their families could walk around the community. There was hardly anybody around, and they could look for these scavenger clues and find these pieces of treasures throughout the village. Quick wins that we've been established within the last year. We've started an annual no trash bash. So, we try to get everybody the week of Earth Day to get out and start cleaning up the community. Our events committee has been continuously kicking off different things for our youth in the area, as well as young adults. Bingo scavengers. There was a Boo to You bags that they kind of did as a fundraiser in the fall around Halloween. Something else that we've been doing in order to just kind of get the community involved and together is last year we had a garage band night where multiple areas or multiple houses had bands in their garage, and people, we are a golf cart community, so they'd hop on their golf carts and go to the different garages to listen to the bands. That was a fun event, a great evening for the community to get out and just kind of go around town. That is something that we want to continue into the future, to kind of have as an annual event as well. I think Teutopolis for Tomorrow was started just because there were a lot of community champions that wanted us to continue to move forward, right? We do have rich values, and that's what keeps us going, but we have the opportunity to do so much more. We want to continue to grow the village, to make it a place where people want to live and make it a place where people want to come and raise their families.
There you go, the last story in Teutopolis. This is our story. We ended it on a forward-thinking Teutopolis for tomorrow. That was Angie Custer's story. 29 stories on T-Town.
Absolutely, what a great night. Oh, let's celebrate, yes. We've got everybody up here on the studio floor with us on the side of the set. We got a full house. We've got some thank yous we want to give a shout out to. This is your last chance tonight to order a DVD or Blu-ray. Now this isn't the very last chance, but it's the last chance tonight.
Absolutely. Let's go through some of these thank yous here. We have Melissa Belfort from T-Town, Tom Daters from Siegel, and a couple people in the back there. Tom and Rita Taylor from T-Town.
All right, I also have Angie Jansen from Effingham, Kevin Schumacher from Effingham, Doris Lau from Paris, who is supporting Everett tonight.
Thank you, Everett.
As well. Jane Ordner. Sorry, I knew I was going to get that wrong. From T-Town, I'm sorry. Judy Pels from Teutopolis, Todd Hewing from Hidalgo, and Angie Custer and Brad from T-Town tonight. Thank you so much.
And by the way, this jacket that Kian is wearing is from Brad Custer, who told me a little bit about himself. It says 88.
Yeah.
But he was also a basketball manager for the 86 team, and then you said you went on to do video, so.
Pretty neat.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you for letting me wear this tonight.
Keeping her warm.
Yes, it's a little cold in here tonight, but we want to heat up the studio. This is your last chance to call live in the TV studio tonight and talk to one of the storytellers. Order your DVD or Blu-ray. We want you to support these people here tonight. They've stuck it out all evening long with us, and we want to thank you for watching and calling in.
See Kevin Ruhal in the back there. Pleasure to talk with him and him share his story about the 86 boys basketball team. Call now and you get a disc, a DVD or Blu-ray to rewatch some of those highlights from the glory days of T-Town basketball back in 86. It's been a pleasure to capture this history on T-Town tonight. So much history, the church, the schools, agriculture, you name it, it's in this program.
It is, and we've got 3 operators standing by right now. We've got 3 that are busy. You've got a chance to call right now. $75 for 1, 2 or more, $60 each. You get your option of either a DVD or Blu-ray, and you can give them as gifts for Father's Day coming up.
Absolutely.
We've got lots of different holidays coming up at the end of the year. This is your one-stop shop for a show just on T-Town. You can't get it anywhere else. This is the only place to get it.
And it's people behind us. Many of them are storytellers. We've talked to many of these folks tonight. It's these folks that most of them are lifelongers that have lived in Teutopolis, to hear them share their stories about the organizations, the histories, or in the case people like Mick Daters talking about playing ball, and Mick said it was heaven to play ball in T-Town.
Well, it must be, because they like to win over that way.
That's right.
And once again, we've given shout outs to all the different people who've been a part of the sports teams, the education, the businesses, the church, all the different factors that make up Teutopolis. We've challenged you to call us in tonight. We've gotten a number of calls. The phones are still ringing. We appreciate you. Be sure to continue calling or going online, because the DVDs and Blu-rays are limitless. If you want them, we'll make sure you get them.
Absolutely. It's a treat for WEIU to be able to cover our Central Illinois communities, and it's great to be back in Effingham County covering Teutopolis. 29 stories with history dating back to 1839. Great to hear that town origin. I'm a history junkie, and it's just amazing to learn about our local communities and share it with you tonight. And that's why it's important. If you want a copy of this program, you can hold on to that history forever.
Molly and Abigail have joined us this evening. They couldn't wait to get here tonight and to help. There they are back there. Give us a smile and wave, girls. And
you're on TV.
You know what? I bet you they've learned a lot about their hometown and about local history, and that's what this is all about, is to educate our youth and to make them the leaders of tomorrow so they can carry on the traditions, which is exactly what Teutopolis is all about. Now, it looks like we've got about 30 seconds left before we're going to close out. You can still call, you can still go online, but everybody, thank you so much for being a part of Teutopolis. We want to thank all of our staff and all of our students For Teutopolis, it's been a pleasure doing this show with you, Ramin.
Absolutely, great to be in front of the camera on this one.
So don't go anywhere. Keep calling. We're going to be here for a little bit. But once again, go Wooden Shoes. Let's all say it together. Go Wooden Shoes! Teutopolis, this is our story. Woo-hoo!
Teutopolis, This is Our Story is brought to you in part by Heartland Dental's main support office, based in Effingham, Illinois, is home to more than 600 team members, many of whom are Effingham County residents. Founded by Dr. Rick Workman, Heartland Dental provides non-clinical administrative support to over 1,800 dentists in more than 1,150 offices across 38 states. Heartland Dental supports many local organizations and is proud to be a supporter of Teutopolis. This is Our Story. Teutopolis State Bank takes pride in giving back to their community. In addition to meeting the deposit and loan needs of individuals and businesses, the bank invests in local organizations and schools. With 3 locations, Teutopolis State Bank looks forward to future successes and continuing contributions toward the growth of their community. Teutopolis State Bank would like to thank all the storytellers for their time and talents in promoting Teutopolis. Community service is alive and well in T-Town. The region's natural beauty, coupled with abundant amenities, makes it an excellent place to live. The village of Teutopolis is a proud partner with WEIU for Teutopolis. This is Our Story. Diedrich Bank, a community bank with community values. Our employees are your friends and neighbors, which is why they are so passionate about being involved in the neighborhoods and towns they serve. Diedrich Bank salutes the people and the stories involved with Teutopolis. This is Our Story on WEIU. Seymour Milling Company, a family and employee-owned company proudly located in Teutopolis. Seymour Milling is dedicated to building a legacy of innovation and sustainability. Enjoy Teutopolis. This is Our Story from your friends at Seymour Milling. The Teutopolis Banquet Hall at 210 South Pearl is a proud partner of WEIU and Teutopolis. This is Our Story. Enjoy the show from the Teutopolis Banquet Hall, open for your family gathering, event, celebration, or wedding. Teutopolis, This is Our Story is partially supported by a grant from the Illinois Arts Council, a state agency.
There's only one way out, way too much to talk about. This ain't your typical small town in the Bible Belt. We work all week to make ends meet, take the time, relax and drink. We praise the Lord on Sunday, then throw it down in this one church, 3-bar town. In this one church, 3-bar town. In the middle of nowhere, you'll find my favorite place. It's a diamond in the rough, you'll wish to stay. There's only one way out, way too much to talk about. This ain't your typical small town in the Bible Belt.